There comes a moment when a woman realizes that her mind has become louder than her life, not because she is weak, not because she is incapable, but because she has carried too much for too long. Thoughts begin to overlap, worries arrive before breakfast, memories revisit without invitation, and even in moments of rest, the mind refuses to be still. If you are listening to this, there's a chance you know exactly what I mean. Many women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s reach a quiet exhaustion that no one talks about. Life may look stable from the outside, yet inside, the mind feels crowded, restless, and constantly alert. You may feel tired without knowing why. You may struggle to focus, even on simple tasks. You may long for calm, but calm feels distant, almost unreachable. In Japanese wisdom, this state is not seen as a failure. It is seen as a sign that the mind has been trained to survive, not to rest. For centuries, Zen practitioners and samurai warriors studied the mind, not to make it empty, but to make it clear. A clear mind was not a luxury. There comes a moment when a woman realizes that her mind has become louder than her life, not because she is weak, not because she is incapable, but because she has carried too much for too long. Thoughts begin to overlap, worries arrive before breakfast, memories revisit without invitation, and even in moments of rest, the mind refuses to be still. If you are listening to this, there's a chance you know exactly what I mean. Many women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s reach a quiet exhaustion that no one talks about. Life may look stable from the outside, yet inside, the mind feels crowded, restless, and constantly alert. You may feel tired without knowing why. You may struggle to focus, even on simple tasks. You may long for calm, but calm feels distant, almost unreachable. In Japanese wisdom, this state is not seen as a failure. It is seen as a sign that the mind has been trained to survive, not to rest. For centuries, Zen practitioners and samurai warriors studied the mind, not to make it empty, but to make it clear. A clear mind was not a luxury, it was essential. Without clarity, a warrior could not act wisely. Without calm, a human heart could not remain whole. And here is the first truth they understood, one that many women have never been taught. Mental clarity does not come from controlling the mind, it comes from understanding it. Zen teaches that the mind becomes chaotic when it is constantly pulled into the past or pushed into the future. Regret, guilt, fear, anticipation, these are not enemies, but when they dominate, they scatter your inner energy. A woman who overthinks is not broken. She is vigilant, she is protective. She has learned to stay alert because at some point in her life, she had to. And this is especially true for women who have spent decades caring for others. In Japanese culture, there is a quiet respect for what is called ma, the space between things, the pause, the silence, the breath between actions. Without ma, life becomes noise. Many women have lost their ma. They wake up already thinking of what must be done. They fall asleep reviewing what they didn't do well enough. The mind never truly rests, even when the body does. Zen would gently say, the mind is not asking to be silenced, it is asking to be heard. One of the first Zen practices for clarity is simple observation. Not changing, not fixing, not judging, just noticing. Notice how your thoughts arrive. Notice which ones repeat. Notice how your body responds to them. A samurai trained this way before battle. He did not fight his fear. He acknowledged it, breathed with it, and allowed it to pass. This practice created focus, not suppression. For women, this practice is deeply healing, because so many women have been taught to ignore themselves, to push through discomfort, to minimize their emotions, to keep going no matter what. But clarity does not come from pushing. It comes from presence. Try this, gently.
The next time your mind feels overwhelmed, do not ask, how do I stop thinking? Instead, ask, what is my mind trying to protect me from right now? This question alone softens the inner tension. Zen masters believed that a restless mind is often guarding an unspoken fear. Fear of loss, fear of being alone, fear of making the wrong decision, fear of no longer being needed. These fears are not weaknesses. They are echoes of a life deeply lived. And this is where samurai wisdom enters with surprising tenderness. The samurai trained in discipline, yes, but their discipline was rooted in calm awareness. They practice something called zanshin, a state of relaxed alertness, fully present, not tense, not scattered. A woman in zanshin is not anxious. She is grounded. She moves through her day with attention, not urgency. She responds instead of reacting. She knows where her energy goes. But modern life has taught women the opposite: multitasking, overcommitting, constant stimulation. The mind never settles because it is never allowed to finish a thought. Zen teaches, do one thing at a time, fully. Drink your tea without scrolling. Walk without rehearsing conversations. Breathe without planning the next hour. These are not small acts. They are radical acts of clarity. And if this reflection resonates with you, take a moment and share in the comments, what is the one moment in your day when your mind feels most restless? Your voice matters here, and other women may recognize themselves in your words. As clarity begins, calm follows, not because life becomes easier, but because the mind stops fighting reality. Zen does not promise a mind without thoughts. It offers a mind that is no longer controlled by them. For women in midlife and beyond, this is especially powerful. You are no longer meant to live in constant reaction. This stage of life invites wisdom, not chaos. The Japanese believe that clarity is not something you chase, it is something you allow. Allowing space, allowing silence, allowing yourself to slow down without guilt. A samurai would never enter battle exhausted and distracted, and a woman should not enter her days that way either. You deserve a mind that feels like a clear lake, not a storm. And this is only the beginning. In the next part of this journey, we will gently explore practical Zen rituals and samurai-inspired mental disciplines that help the mind release excess noise and return to calm focus, without force and without pressure. And if you haven't yet, feel welcome to subscribe to the channel and continue this path of feminine wisdom with us. When the mind begins to clear, something subtle happens. You start to notice how much energy you have been spending without realizing it, not only on people or responsibilities, but on thoughts that never lead anywhere. Replaying conversations, imagining outcomes, carrying worries that do not belong to the present moment.
Zen teaches that clarity is not created by adding more techniques to the mind, but by removing what no longer serves it. This is why Japanese practices are so gentle. They do not overwhelm, they simplify. One of the most powerful Zen practices for mental clarity is the discipline of returning to the breath, returning to the body, returning to what is happening now. A samurai trained this way daily, not because he expected peace, but because he understood something essential. A scattered mind is an unsafe mind. For women, this scattered state often feels normal. You have learned to think ahead, anticipate needs, and prepare for what could go wrong. This vigilance once protected you, but over time it became exhausting. Zen does not ask you to abandon this part of yourself. It asks you to soften it. Begin with the breath, not deep, dramatic breathing, not forced calm, just natural breathing, noticed with care. As you inhale, silently acknowledge, I am here. As you exhale, gently say, I am safe. This simple rhythm begins to teach the nervous system something new, that it no longer needs to be on constant alert. Samurai philosophy understood this well. They believed that tension clouds judgment. A warrior who is tense reacts blindly. A warrior who is calm sees clearly. The same is true for a woman navigating life. When your mind is tense, everything feels urgent. When your mind is calm, everything becomes clearer. Another Zen practice that supports focus and clarity is intentional slowness. In Japan, even simple actions were once done with full presence. Pouring tea, folding cloth, walking through a garden. Slowness was not inefficiency, it was respect for the moment. Many women rush through their days without ever fully arriving in them. The body moves forward, while the mind remains behind or leaps ahead. Choose one daily ritual to slow down. It could be making tea in silence, washing your face with awareness, sitting for 1 minute before starting your day. While doing it, do nothing else. No phone, no planning, no reviewing. At first, the mind will resist. Thoughts will interrupt. This is normal. Zen teaches that distraction is not failure, it is the training ground. Each time you notice the mind wandering and gently bring it back, you strengthen clarity, just like a muscle. And this is important. You do this without self-criticism. A mature woman does not need harsh discipline. She needs respectful guidance. Samurai discipline was never cruel. It was precise. Another powerful practice comes from the samurai code itself, the principle of decisiveness. Mental fog often comes from too many unresolved decisions. Small ones, delayed ones, avoided ones. What should I do? Should I say something? Should I wait? The mind becomes tired from holding unfinished questions. Samurai believed that clarity comes from choosing, even imperfectly. For women, this can feel frightening. You were often taught to doubt your instincts,
to seek approval, to second guess. But wisdom grows when you trust yourself again. Choose one small decision you have been postponing, something gentle, not overwhelming. Make a choice, honor it, release it. This frees mental space immediately. And if this message is helping you reconnect with your inner clarity, feel welcome to subscribe to the channel and walk this path with us. Zen also speaks deeply to women about emptiness. In Western culture, emptiness sounds frightening, but in Zen, emptiness is spaciousness. It is the absence of clutter, not meaning. A cup must be empty to receive tea. Your mind must have space to receive peace. Many women fill every quiet moment with noise because silence brings emotions to the surface. Old grief, unspoken longing, forgotten dreams. Zen does not rush this process. It invites you to sit gently with what arises. You do not analyze it. You do not fix it. You simply allow it. And something extraordinary happens. Emotions soften when they are allowed to exist. The samurai understood that fear loses power when faced calmly. Avoidance strengthens it. So if your mind becomes quiet and something emotional appears, stay with it for a few breaths. Let it pass like a cloud. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness holding them. This understanding creates deep mental clarity. For women in their later chapters of life, this clarity is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering who you have always been beneath the noise. Another Japanese practice that supports calm focus is grounded posture. Zen masters believed the body teaches the mind. When you sit upright, relaxed, with feet grounded, the mind follows. Many women carry tension in their shoulders, jaw, and belly without noticing. This tension feeds mental restlessness. Throughout your day, pause and soften the body. Drop the shoulders. Unclench the jaw. Relax the hands. These small gestures communicate safety to the mind. A samurai never held his body in unnecessary tension. He conserved energy. So should you. Mental clarity is not achieved in one moment. It is cultivated gently, daily. And the most important truth is this: you are not late. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are learning to listen inward again. Zen and samurai wisdom were never about perfection. They were about alignment between mind, body, and heart. In the final part of this guide, we will bring everything together. Calm, focus, and clarity will no longer feel like distant ideals, but lived experiences woven into your daily life, with softness, dignity, and strength. There is a quiet moment when everything you have practiced begins to settle, not as a sudden revelation, not as a dramatic transformation, but as a gentle inner knowing. Your mind no longer feels like a battlefield. It begins to feel like a path. Zen teaches that clarity is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something you return to, again and again. Like a home you now remember how to find. For many women, this return is deeply emotional, because for years you may have lived outwardly, meeting expectations, fulfilling roles, staying strong, while your inner world waited patiently for your attention. Samurai wisdom honors this return. A warrior was not defined by how often he fought, but by how well he could stand still within himself. Calm was his strength. Awareness was his protection. For a woman, this stage of life offers the same invitation. You no longer need to rush. You no longer need to prove. You no longer need to carry everything alone. Mental clarity, in its deepest sense,
is the ability to meet life without inner resistance. When something happens, you respond instead of react. When a thought arises, you observe instead of obey. When an emotion surfaces, you hold it instead of push it away. This is mastery, not over life, but over your inner relationship with it. Zen speaks of the concept of beginner's mind, approaching each moment without assumptions, without stories layered on top of experience. For women, this is liberating. You are not required to be who you were. You are allowed to meet each day freshly. A mature woman with a clear mind does not carry yesterday into today, unless it serves her. Samurai lived by a similar principle. They trained daily, not because they doubted themselves, but because they respected the present moment. Each day was met fully, not compared to the last. You can adopt this gently. Each morning, ask yourself one simple question. How do I want to feel today? Not what do I need to accomplish? Not who do I need to please? But how do I want to feel in my body, my mind, my heart? Let that answer guide your pace. Another key element of clarity is acceptance. Zen teaches that resistance multiplies suffering. Acceptance softens it. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means seeing reality clearly. When your mind resists what is, it creates tension. When your mind accepts what is, it creates space. This is especially important for women navigating change, aging, shifting relationships, evolving identities. Clarity allows you to grieve without drowning, to release without bitterness, to move forward without fear. The samurai accepted impermanence deeply. Life was uncertain. Control was an illusion. Presence was everything. For women, this understanding brings peace. You do not need to have everything figured out to feel calm. You need to be present enough to meet what is already here. Zen also teaches compassion toward oneself as a form of wisdom. Many women have sharp inner voices, critical, demanding, relentless, voices shaped by years of responsibility and self-sacrifice. Clarity quiets these voices, not by silencing them, but by seeing them clearly. When a thought says, you should be doing more, clarity asks, says who? When a thought says, you're falling behind, clarity responds, behind what? This gentle questioning dissolves mental pressure.
A samurai would never waste energy fighting imaginary enemies. A woman should not waste energy fighting imaginary expectations. Clarity brings discernment. You begin to know what deserves your attention and what does not, what nourishes you and what drains you, what belongs to you and what never did. This is power without aggression, strength without tension, and with clarity comes calm, not the absence of challenges, but the absence of inner chaos. You begin to trust yourself again. Your intuition sharpens. Your decisions simplify. Your nervous system rests. Life does not become silent, but it becomes intelligible. Zen calls this harmony. Harmony between thought and feeling. Harmony between effort and rest. Harmony between who you are and how you live. For women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, this harmony is not a luxury. It is a return to truth. You have lived enough to know what matters. You have felt enough to know what hurts. You have loved enough to know what is precious. Clarity honors all of it. And if this journey has resonated with you, take a moment to breathe it in. Nothing more is required of you right now. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are exactly where a wise woman begins to listen inwardly. Zen and samurai teachings were never about escaping life. They were about entering it fully, with calm eyes and a steady heart. Let your mind be clear, not empty. Let your focus be gentle, not rigid. Let your calm be deep, not forced. And carry this truth with you. A clear mind is not one without thoughts. It is one that knows which thoughts deserve a home. If this journey touched something within you, subscribe and join this circle of feminine wisdom, and share in the comments one small practice you feel called to bring into your daily life. Your presence matters here.